Igniting Change with Barbara Arnwine, platforms by host Barbara Arnwine Esquire, guests and supporters are their own and are independent of any organization, entity. Nothing said on the show or any of its platforms constitutes a client-attorney relationship or serves as legal advice counsel. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to Igniting Change, its platforms, or the show's host. It's time now for Igniting Change, a weekly provocative and empowering program where you, the listener, can ignite change. Now here's your host, Barbara Arnwine.
Get up, stand up.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Igniting Change. Oh, we got a show for you today, and we can't wait because it is always time to ignite change. And we have some amazing guests. If you haven't had the pleasure of meeting them, you will be overwhelmed and want to make sure you do so soon. These are fighters. We have our show today. We're going to talk about Alabama. But before I get to Alabama, good old Bama, I got to introduce my amazing co-host. You know I'm talking about the chair of the board of the Great Transformative Justice Coalition. I am talking about none other than one of the most powerful, most amazing, most inventive, most innovative attorneys in the country. That is Daryl D. Jones. Hey, Daryl.
Hey, Barbara, it must be noon. It must be noon Eastern Standard Time. It must be Tuesday because we're talking about igniting change. My goodness, Barbara, when you talk about igniting change and talk about Alabama, there's so much change that's going on in Alabama. The song used to say, Barbara, Sweet Home Alabama. I don't know, Barbara. I'm watching this Sweet Home in Alabama, and I'm watching this fight that's going on. My goodness, thank goodness for the guests we have on today that are trying to make Alabama a sweet home for everybody and not just to certain somebodies that are down there. This is going to be an exciting show, Barbara, and I tell you, the fight for racial justice, the fight for the right to vote, the fight for fair representation, that's all embodied in Alabama in this show we have today, Barbara.
That's right, everybody, because the theme of our show today is the fight against voter suppression in Alabama. Yes, everybody, I know there's several states that have these issues, but we're going to talk about Alabama today, and we're going to talk about those other states in the weeks to come leading up to the 2024 election. But today we're talking about voter suppression in Alabama. And TOPS, Transform Alabama, and the young activists to the forefront because there's no attack on us that goes unanswered. There's no movement that we ever have had to advance justice in which someone didn't try to stop us. But there's always amazing organizations, amazing people at the forefront, and we're going to be talking with some of them today. And so it is our pleasure to welcome to the show Rodreisha Russaw. Yes, she's been on the show before. You've heard her incredible voice. She is the executive director of the Ordinary People's Society, otherwise known as TOPS. That's right, TOPS. Because when you're talking about fighting for justice, you're in the tops. And we are so happy to welcome Rodreisha. Hello, Ms. Russaw.
Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Barbara Arnwine. Thank you once again for choosing me to be a guest on the show. I'm excited to talk about a little bit of stuff about Alabama.
Well, you've been doing the work. And I saw that on Friday at that incredible gala of yours.
Yes.
Packed, wonderful attendance, amazing community support because everybody knows you're doing the work. And I was so happy that at that gala, and was a person who I, worked with on getting out the vote, on Selma, on so many things, but she is one of the leaders, a former candidate for office, for Congress in the 3rd Congressional District. She is the creator of the hype curriculum on hip hop culture and elections. She is one of the leaders who has been bringing about change. She's a plaintiff in the Allen versus Milligan case that you have heard us talk about on this show before, because it was a game changer for the people in Alabama. So we are so happy to welcome for her inaugural appearance on good old Igniting Change, Dr. Adia Winfrey. Hi, Dr. Winfrey.
Hey. I'm so happy to be on here. Y'all got me fired up this afternoon.
All right now. All right.
Yes.
We better
energy. We need it now. This is it. We needed this juice this morning. I know Rodreisha feel me. This was wonderful. Thank you for having me.
All right now. All right. And Daryl, you want to bring up our next guest?
Oh, sure, Barbara. You know, we're always very fortunate to have Gen Z represented in most things that we do. But, you know, we're especially excited today to have with us one of our TJC alumni out of the class of 2024. He just finished it up. And he was awesome in that training. And I tell you, Barbara, he's a student at Alabama State University, the president of the Youth and College Division of the NAACP. He's none other than my fraternity brother, Eldrick Coleman. Eldrick, welcome aboard.
Hey, how y'all doing? Thank you for having me on.
Oh, we are just so excited to hear your voice again, Eldrick. Thank you so much for joining the show. Woo! It's great to have you. You know, I was on your campus when Senator LaFonza Butler had that amazing hearing about voter suppression in Alabama on behalf of the U.S. Senate. That was on March the 30th, and she was amazing, and it was just beautiful to be on ASU's campus and for them to host us as part of the work that is being done to fight for justice. All right now, so let's get into this show because we got so much to cover. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on in old Alabama. So we're happy that we're able to get started. The first question I have is for you, Rodreisha. Please tell our audience about TOPS, the Ordinary People Society. Why was it founded, and what is its top line work? And at the same time, tell people about your amazing personal journey, because you got a story, as they say, a testimony. So tell us about it.
Yeah, so TOPS stands for the Ordinary People Society. Was founded by Reverend Pastor Kenneth Sharpton Glasgow, who is the world-renowned brother of Al Sharpton. And it started back in 2001, founded in 1994 during his 14 years of incarceration, aims to help and assist those that are directly impacted by mass incarceration. Nationally, we have been known for our changing of our voting rights. A lawsuit that was filed to sue the state in reference to those being eligible to vote of crimes of moral turpitude that not involve moral turpitude has opened the doors to us to be able to assist thousands and thousands of eligible voters inside and outside of prison to vote by absentee ballot throughout Alabama. And so our work stems not just here, but particularly throughout the South. And so my advocacy work actually started at the age of 17. I have been doing this for 30-something years. Just organizing and advocating for families who are in need of assistance, whether it's homeless crises, whether it's incarceration, or even reproductive justice fights. Those are my fights. That's what I do. So basically over this year, and Barbara Arnwine, I just want to thank you once again for coming all the way to Dothan, Alabama. Everybody was so excited because they're like, the thing about it is that we have to realize we're going into a general election, okay? And in this general election, sometimes our small towns like this have misinformation on what's going on in Washington, D.C., what is going on up there. And so for Barbara Arnwine to come and to share with us exactly all of the House bills, all the things that are changing that are going to impact, our lower bottom communities is a major thing for us. So for you to be able to come out and share with us the new updates that are happening, keeps us organizers such as ourselves and Dr. Diaz that's online in alignment with the national movement. You can't have a local movement unless you're not in alignment with the national movement. Even though all politics and all things are local, we have to have that alignment. So I just thank you for coming out and supporting our 23rd year anniversary. And we are focused right now on mobilizing more and more voters and first-time voters as we go into the general election.
Wow. I mean, Friday was just beautiful, folks. I had to fly into Pensacola. I was picked up by the wonderful Minister Lynn, and I heard so much, learned so much just in that 2-hour journey from the airport to beautiful Dolton. And I was shocked because, I did not know that Johnny Cochran had, really built his firm so strongly out of Dolton. And to see, the national office there, to see, all of his, imprint on Dolton, I was just surprised. But then I learned that there was a whole lot of great history in Dolton that we just don't know. And so it was great to be able to be there, to celebrate with the people, to see, all those beautiful, everybody was just so dressed up, looking so good. The spirit was strong. And wait a minute, Rodreisha. Tell people about the Manhattans. You had so many highlights of your program. Please tell folks about the Manhattans turning it out.
Oh, yeah. So the Manhattans came all the way from New Jersey. That was such a treat for us, and we couldn't do it without the support of our funders and Alabama Forward and some of the folks who are on the panels. And, just to have them come in with that old school dancing, Barbara, they don't do that no more with the 2 steps, and they got the chairs, the round stool chairs, and they were just so sharp. And I think that's what we need because, a lot of us as we're getting older, we tend to get intimidated by all this gun violence. And, to be able to bring clean fun and so where people can have their ears open to all of our guest speakers about voter intimidation that is so prevalent right now. We need artists to push the agenda. So we're thankful that we had artists there that they can take back into their communities and share with the money makers what we're doing here in the bottom.
And I love the tributes to Reverend Kenneth Glasgow doing the singing. I mean that change is going to come, and our God is real. Ooh! There were just so many beautiful moments that still send chills down my spine. Now, during the program, you did something really unusual. This wasn't just about all glitter and glance. You actually had a panel that of some of the foremost organizers in Alabama. And it was just so beautiful to hear the panelists. And I was particularly and always happy to hear the voice of Dr. Adia Winfrey. And she is as I mentioned earlier, the founder of the Mighty Transform Alabama. Dr. Adia, why don't you tell our audience about the work of Transform Alabama and how you use hip-hop hip-hop culture to really motivate voters.
Yes. Before I get into that, I just have to co-sign what Rodreisha said real quick, Ms. Barbara Arnwine, because you don't understand the energy that you brought to Alabama on Friday. Seeing you, hearing you, that message was confirmation for the work that we are doing. And it was just so right on time, and everybody is still electrified. And so I just had to shout you out. I had my weekly meeting with the team yesterday, and I had them fired up talking about you. So thank you. Thank you for coming to Dolton. But yes, I am Dr. Dia. Yes, absolutely. Co-founder of Transform Alabama. And the work that we do is centered on intergenerational community political education. And we use hip-hop culture as a tool to get this message out. Now, a lot of us know last year, 2023, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of hip-hop culture. And what that reminded us of within Transform Alabama is that while we do use hip-hop to reach the youth, we got some grown folks in hip-hop culture to be celebrating 50 years. And so it really challenged us to look